Hi, my name is Jeff, and today I'll be talking to you about what a GIC is. So, with rising interest rates, nowadays GICs are looking pretty much very attractive, especially for conservative investors. So what is a GIC? A GIC stands for Guaranteed Investment Certificate. So it's guaranteed. Whatever you put in, your deposit is guaranteed, plus the interest is guaranteed as well. It's contractual. So what do the banks usually do when you put your money inside a GIC? You're essentially lending your money to the bank. In exchange, they'll give you interest. So for example, let's say 3% is the GIC, then you're lending your money to the bank at a 3% rate. So what do the banks do with your money? They lend it out to other people and charge them at a higher rate, such as line of credit, mortgage, etc., credit cards. So you've essentially becoming a lender to the bank, but they're making a lot more in the profits and they're only giving you back a certain amount. So that is what essentially a GIC is. Now, there are pros and cons to a GIC. So as I mentioned, the advantages would be that the principal is set, you don't have to worry about market fluctuations, and it's protected. Interest rate is also stated, so what you see is what you get. The disadvantage of a GIC is that it is locked in, so that's the drawback. You're committed to the amount of time that is set for you to lend your money to the bank. So the commitment time is usually anywhere between 30 days all the way up to 10 years, okay? So you gotta be careful when you're purchasing a GIC. There's different types as well, and the longer the time it takes for you to commit with them, the higher the interest in return. So if you do need to withdraw from a GIC for some emergency purpose, be aware that there are penalties as well. And even if all of your money is in a GIC thinking that that's the best investment for long term, it may not be advisable because it rarely outpaces inflation, okay? So if inflation is at, let's say, 6% and your GIC is giving you 2%, then now you're at a minus, a guaranteed loss, because it's all about purchasing power as well. What you buy today will be different from what you would buy 5 years from now. It will cost a lot more. So the best types of rates, I would say, that GICs offer from institutions are the ones through virtual banks. Virtual banks meaning Simply Financial, Tangerine, EQ. The reason why their rates are better than retail banks, it's because they have less overhead, so they pass the savings back to the customers. Okay. Now, one thing you got to be aware as well is that if you don't let the banks know, they will automatically renew your GIC. So let's say your time horizon is a year and you need to put that money in there. You're planning to take it out after a year to buy a house or buy a car, whatever it is. If you don't let the bank know in advance and the renewal comes, they will automatically renew for another year. So that's going to cause a lot of headache, and you might think that why would they renew because I didn't tell them to? Well, it's in the contract that it's automatic unless you tell them otherwise. So be mindful of when the maturity date is. That way you can tell them a month ahead or a few weeks ahead, let them know that you're not interested to renew anymore, okay? And another thing to note too is that you gotta match the renewal date with your own purpose. So let's say you're looking to make a big purchase in 3 years, don't get a 5-year GIC. Very simple, you wanna be aware of that as well. So there are different types of GICs as well. There's what's called a fixed rate GIC, that's your standard. On the flyer, you get 2%, you put your money in after a year, you get 2% back, that's fixed rate. There's interest rate linked GIC, so that moves with prime, which means if prime goes up, your interest return is high. If prime goes down, vice versa. There's also what's called equity linked GIC. So this one, it's great because it gives you some exposure to the market, but you have to be aware too, they cap the growth. So let's say the return on the investment is 6%, the most you're gonna get is probably 2%. So those are the different types of GICs I want to share with you today. Any questions relating to this topic, feel free to email me below. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time.